Now, very good morning to all of you children. I again welcome you all to my session for English literature. We'll continue in today's session. We'll continue with the story The Chinese Statue by Jeffrey Archer. So let us move on to the text quickly. We'll begin from where we had left yesterday. Page number page number 65. Not 65, I think we have done up till page number 67. Now, in our previous session, we had done up till page number 64, second last paragraph. Now, we have come across the fact that the gift was given to Alexander Heathcote by the old craftsman. That is, the gift of Chinese statue was given to Sir Alexander Heathcote was given to Sir Alexander Heathcote by the old craftsman, and then but he wanted to give something in return to Sir Alexander. So Sir Alexander wanted to give something in return to the old craftsman for the favor that he had been done by the old that has been done for him by the old craftsman. So let us see what happens after that. Sir Alexander smiled his thanks and thought carefully about the mandarin's words. Once back in the official residence, he went immediately to the embassy's extensive library to see if he could discover the value of the little masterpiece. Actually, a home has been offered to the old craftsman by Sir Alexander. Though it was according to Chinese tradition, it was not at all accepted. The old craftsman was not in a position to accept it, and it was against Chinese law to accept a gift of any sort from any foreigner. But Sir Alexander had sought special permission from the Queen itself, and in that way he was able to give the home to old craftsman as just a token for what he has given to him. As soon as Sir Alexander came back to his place where he was residing in the foreign embassy, there he tried to go to visit the library and tried to find out what might have been the original cost of the Chinese statue. After much diligent means extensive research, he came across a drawing of a Ming statue that was almost about an exact of the one now in his possession, and with the help of the Mandarin, he was able to assess its true worth. A figure that came around to almost 3 years' emolument for a servant of the crown. The cost of the statue it is mentioned over here that when this man Sir Alexander actually evaluated the cost of the statue with the help of the guide that was there for his help, he came to the conclusion that the cost of the statue would be just equal to the salary of a servant of a queen for 3 years. Whatever salary a servant gets to serve the queen or the people in embassy for 3 years, that the amount was equivalent to that. The cost of the statue was equivalent to that amount. The minister discussed the problem with the lady. The minister discussed the problem with the Lady Heathcote, and she left her husband in no doubt as to course of action he must take. The following week, the minister dispatched a letter by private messenger to his bankers, Scouts Co. in the Strand, London, requesting that they send a large part of his savings to reach him in Peking as quickly as possible. When the funds arrived 9 weeks later, the minister again approached the Mandarin, who listened to his questions and gave him details he had asked for 7 days later. The Mandarin had discovered that the little craftsman, Yung Li, came from old and trusted family of Yung Shao, who had for some 500 years been craftsmen. Now the identity of the old craftsman, that is the statue, that is the craftsman from whom Sir Alexander had acquired the statue, it has been revealed in this paragraph. That is, he came from a respectable family of craftsmen, and his ancestors were also in the same business of craftsmanship. Sir Alexander, who learned that many of Yung Lee's ancestors had examples of their work in the palaces of Manchu princes. Yung Lee himself was growing old and wished to retire to hills. Now he had come to the it has come to his knowledge that the old craftsman about whom he is talking over here, about whom he is very much considerate, because he has given him the statue which he actually longed to have. Now he has come across the fact that that craftsman was in need of a residential place because he was becoming old and he needed a house to live in. His son was ready to take over the workshop from him and continue the family tradition. His son, that is the son of the old craftsman, that is Yung Lee, was ready to take up the business from him and continue the family tradition, that is the family business. The minister thanked the Mandarin for his diligence and had only one more request of him. The Mandarin listened sympathetically to the ambassador from England and returned to the palace to seek advice. Now, this Mandarin, the guide who is there, who is a mediator between this man, Sir Alexander, and people of China, now he had returned to Queen's Palace to acquire. He had returned to Queen's Palace to acquire the permission, whatever this man Sir Alexander Heathcote had requested him to acquire. A few days later, the Empress granted Sir Alexander's request. Almost a year to the day, the minister, accompanied by the Mandarin, set out again from Peking for the village of Halichuan. When Sir Alexander arrived, he immediately dismounted from his horse and entered the workshop that he remembered so well. The old man was seated at his bench, his flat hat slightly askew, a fine piece of uncarved ivory held lovingly between his fingers. He looked up from the work and shuffled shuffled towards the minister, not recognizing his guest immediately, until he could almost touch the foreign giant. Then he bowed low. The minister spoke through the Mandarin. Now it is mentioned that after 1 year, exactly after 1 year of Sir Alexander's visit, again he had planned a visit to the same place, that is Peking, and he was accompanied by other ministers as well, and he wanted to visit that shop from where he had acquired you from Yung Lee. He wanted to visit that shop, and he remembered that shop very well. It was there in his remembrance, it was there in his memory, and as soon as he reached to that shop, he quickly got down from his horse and entered the shop. And the old craftsman, actually this shows that the craftsman was aging man, and this shows that whenever people become aged, they don't have very good memory. And this craftsman was not able to recognize Sir Alexander Heathcote, and it took him some time to recognize. Now the minister spoke through then he bowed low. When the craftsman, that is Yung Lee, he recognized this man Sir Alexander, he actually greeted this old man by bowing low. He greeted the old man, he greeted Sir Alexander, and then Sir Alexander started the conversation that why he had come to this place with the help of Mandarin, the guide, the person who is accompanying him, who acted as an interpreter between him and the people with whom he has interacted there in China. I have returned, sir, within the calendar year to repay my debt. I have returned, sir, within 1 year itself. I have not completed exactly 1 year, but within that 1 year I have returned because I just wanted to pay for whatever favor was being done to me. There was no need, Your Excellency. My family is honored that the little statue lives in the great embassy and may one day be admired by the people of your own land. Now, Sir Alexander was very humble, and that he said that he had visited the old craftsman shop because he had visited old craftsman shop because he wanted to return some favors to old craftsman for the favor that had been done to him last year by the old craftsman. But the old craftsman said that it was all required, and he might have kept the statue with himself, and that the family of the old craftsman thought that it was very fortunate of this Chinese statue to reside in an embassy, and after some time this man, Sir Alexander Heathcote, might take the statue to his own place, and there the people of his place, the people residing over there, might also acknowledge the work of this craftsman. And it was actually fortunate enough for this Chinese statue to be given over to Sir Alexander. The minister could think of no words to form an adequate reply, and simply requested that the old man should accompany him for a short journey. The minister, means Sir Alexander, could not form a proper reply for whatever this old craftsman was saying, and he had just a simple request from the old craftsman that he should accompany him to the that this old craftsman should accompany him to for a small journey. He wanted this old craftsman to accompany him for the small journey. The craftsman agreed without question, and three men set out on the donkeys towards the north. And the craftsman, that is the old craftsman, he agreed upon it, and then these three people, they again rode on a donkey to the northern direction. They travelled for over 2 hours up to a thin winding path into the hills behind the craftsman's workshop. When they reached the village of Martin, they were met by another mandarin who bowed low to the minister and requested Sir Alexander and the craftsman to continue the journey with him on foot. After they had covered some portion of their journey on the hills, they came across a place which was behind a craftsman's workshop, and there they found that there was another mandarin, there was another guide who had asked them to come down from their donkeys, and then he told them that now further part of their journey would be covered by them on foot. They walked in silence to the far side of the village and only stopped when they had reached a hollow in the hill from which there was a magnificent view of the valley all the way down to Hali Chuan. In the hollow stood a newly completed small house. Hollow means between the hills. They reached to a place between the hills, and finally they noticed when they had reached that place, they could see the entire town of Hali Chuan from there, and in between those hills there was a small beautiful house made of the most perfect proposition, means everything was very much perfect about the house. Two stone-lined dogs' tongues hanging out over their lips guarded the front entrance, means the sculptures of two lion dogs were there at the front entrance of the house, and their tongue was also out of their mouth. It is just mentioned to show that everything was very much perfect about the house. The little old craftsman, who had not spoken since he had left his workshop, remained mystified by the purpose of the journey until the minister turned to him and offered. Now the little old craftsman, Yung Li, he was actually very much confused. He was actually in a dilemma because he didn't knew why he was accompanying Sir Alexander. He journey on this journey, and he came to know about the matter only when he was offered the house by Sir Alexander, a small inadequate gift, and my feeble attempt to repay you in kind. Now Sir Alexander tells this old craftsman that this is a small and weak gift that I can give you for what you have done for me, for the favor that you have done for me. That is the gifting of the statue, that the statue that you have given to me, and the favor that you have done to me, that is so much that whatever I am giving you is very inadequate, is not at all sufficient, and this is only a type of favor that I wish to do for you. This is what Sir Alexander says. So thank you so much, students, for joining me on in this session for the Chinese statue, and I will be back with the next session on Chinese statue very soon. Thank you.